have covalent bonds in them. So if I would have ever gave you sucrose, you would have been never had even done the lab. You would have been like, oh, that's covalent. If I would have gave you potassium chloride, what's potassium? Hey, yes, very true. Yes. Is it a metal or a non-metal?
Non-metal. I don't know. Where's the
I'm pointing to the side of the periodic table that it is.
Oh, so it's like on the far left. It's the first column. I don't think it's...
Yeah, it's on the far left. On the first column. On the left side of the staircase, which is what? Metal. Thank you. Metal. And what's chloride? Non-metal. What's a metal and a non-metal? What are they made? Ionic. This one probably would have tricked you just because you ain't seen it yet. We gave you lauric acid, probably would have tricked you because you would have been like, if I would have gave you this, sodium chloride. Yet again, sodium's what? Don't worry, I'll wait. A metal. With chloride, which we already discussed, is a? There we go. So a metal and a non-metal make ionic bonds. So we would have been able to guess and know that that was forming an ion. And ionic bonds. See? So, this is where life gets interesting. We have to get into the realm of chemistry of where we can start looking at these, producing names. We can give chemical formulas based off them, and there's certain rules, as has already been introduced in this class for you, on how to do this. So today my goal is for us to kind of finish up the ionics. I have took way too much time to try and explain where we're getting charges and stuff from. So we're going to get into the ionics more. We talked about the monatomics. If you remember the monatomics, mon stands for one, which means there's only one. That's why we call them monatomics. Now we're going to get into whenever you have multiple. So in this case, we're going to start looking. I don't think. Let me look this up. I don't want to say it wrong. Well, we're really going to look at two together, but I can't remember if we call them biatomics. I want to say it's biatomics, and not diatomics. It makes no sense, but.
Well, when you say die, I think like a die, so it makes me think of 6.
When I say diatomic, I think the 7 diatomics. But
yeah, I think that too, but I was in the number sense.
Oh, okay. I was totally off. Happy I looked it up. We're going to look up binary compound.
Oh man, that's a good type of word.
And Mr. Hall had nothing right except for the first 2 letters.
That would be true.
So binary compounds. What are binary compounds? Key word here is compounds. Compounds tells me that I am dealing with ionic bonds. So these set of naming rules only apply for ionic bonds. Not only does it only apply for ionic bonds, but the second key word is binary. Binary stands for you got 2 of them. So you got like 2 elements. Is it always 2 elements? No, sometimes it's an element in a polyatomic ion. Which is why you need to know your polyatomic ions. I know you guys have studied so hard and had those mastered, right?
No. Not even one.
Oh boy, it's going to be interesting. So binary compounds. Whenever you're naming binary compounds, you will use and combine the monatomic naming rules. So you're still going to use those monatomic naming rules, but now we're just going to combine things together. This is going to be more simplistic than what you expect. Remember what I told you when we first started this stuff out? Whenever I first started nomenclature with you guys, I said, you're going to feel some confidence and be like, oh, I got this. Yeah, you are, because right now I'm getting ready to teach you how to bale hay. If all you did was bale hay, and then I gave you a quiz on baling hay, you would do great at it. But that's not the only thing you're going to have to do. You have to be able to tell the difference between all of these. When to use what set of rules, what are the rules, how to apply the rules, when do they know, when they don't apply. You have to process it all together. So a perfect example to get us started is one that's very common to us. So I want you to take a look at two monatomics. First one we'll have, whoa, not sodium. I want sodium. So sodium, and then chloride. What do I have here just for sodium? This is the tricky one. I love it. Okay, Na. It's a monatomic ion too.
I get somewhere. I think I'm gonna get somewhere. Yeah.
Because if I say sodium, is this sodium? Yes. If I say sodium, is that sodium? Yes.
Depends on how you're naming it, right?
So the fact that I just give you sodium, you have to know that both of those have to be placed here. I'm being that guy because you may go to college and have that professor. Look at chloride. This one's easy. Why is it easy? Use your rules. IDE. What's IDE? Whenever we were naming something, we would take the ending of those anions, we would remove the ending of the name and add IDE. So what does that tell me? This is an anion. Not only is it an anion, the root word, chlor, tells me the element. What is the element? Chlorine. What's the chemical symbol for chlorine? Cl. But it's an anion. So I know that it's picked up its electrons. What's the charge? Negative. How do we know it's negative? There's several ways.
Refer to your periodic table.
Your handy dandy periodic table. And what does your handy dandy periodic table tell you that how?
You gotta look at your columns.
Okay?
And we ignore 3 through 12. Because they're confusing.
Exactly. Well, where's chlorine at? We're just going to focus on chlorine.
It's in the 17th.
17th column, which, what charge does the 17th column form?
Negative.
-1. So we get a negative. Here's the magical part. This is the binary. I mean, not binary. This is the monatomics. Here's the monatomics. Now let's go to binary. It's about to get real simple. You ready? Here we go. Let's combine. Sodium, chloride. Now it's together. They're connected. Together. Here's what you do. Make it very simple for you. Write the element and its charge down. So I have sodium a plus charge. Well, Mr. Hall, why aren't you just writing sodium by itself? Well, you see, kids, at this point, it's connected with something, which tells me it's got a charge. It's a cation, which then means it's connected to that chloride, so it has to have that positive charge. Because what's opposites do? Attract. It's like magic. You
Like
know.
selenium and gum and
Selena Gomez and Justin
Chloride,
Bieber.
Cl negative. Here's the magic that makes binary compounds so simple. You ready for this? It's called the cross. Okay, my basketball people in here, not that type of cross.
Man,
My Christian people in here, not that type of cross either.
Dang it.
We're going to cross. You're going to take this number, bring it over here for the bottom of the sodium. Stick with me. I just got to stay with. Guess what you're going to do with this plus number here for the sodium?
Cross it.
Cross. Over here for the chlorine.
Man, I need a green pen. This one's
So whenever you do this, it tells you the number to put with it. This is why we have to balance the charges. In other words, if I have two positives and one negative, I need two of those negatives to balance out one of the positives. I'm going to show you here in a second. We'll freak out on me. So this is all that happens. I put down sodium. What number goes here is what's the charge up here. So there's a 1. So it's just like in math. You know, we don't put the 1. Then I put Cl. Number comes from up here. It's a 1. Bada boom, bada bang. We're done.
C.
Question. You're doing so wonderful today. I'll give you another one. But on this one, I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to explain to you what I was just talking about, okay? So let's say, for example, big O. Mr. Hall gives you this name. Calcium fluoride. So then I'm asking you for the chemical formula. How do you know if I'm asking for the chemical formula or the name?
Because you give us one.
And I want the other. It's that simple. I gave you the name. So what do I want? Chemical formula. So let's take a look at it. Here's where you start. Start just like we did. Start monatomic. Calcium. What's calcium? Ca. What's the charge on calcium? It's number 20. It's in the second column. So it's positive.
No, 2.
Positive 2. Thank you. How do we get positive 2? It's in the second column. They form a positive 2 charge. Sorry, you can put positive 2, but I have to do that. I have to put the 2 positive just because it's not the oxidation number. Then look at fluoride. So we got fluoride, so F. What's the charge? -1. Boom. What did Mr. Hall say the trick to doing this is? What's it called? Cross. So we're just gonna cross them. So this 1 comes down here for calcium, this 2 comes over here for the fluoride. So I get Ca. Do I put a number here? No, it's just 1. The fluoride, I put a number here? What number? Boom. It's calcium fluoride. This is what I'm talking about. We have to balance charges. Am I showing a charge overall? No, because it's hidden. There's no charge left there. It's all balanced out. Look at how many calciums I have. I have 1 calcium. Multiply that by the charge of the calciums. 2 positive, right? So 1 times plus positive 2 is 2. Then look at fluoride. How many fluorides I got?
1, 2, 2. Okay, I was looking at that first one.
You're okay. I have 2 fluorides, right? Times. What's the charge? So -1 is equals -2. Positive 2 plus -2 is 0, and this is why you would destroy the SAT.
I love that.
Now, I want you to get them comfortable with these, okay? So let's do. Oh,
So you don't put a negative because they balance each other out?
like here,
Yeah.
it's correct.
That's one.
So, I give you a cheeky one, cheeky.
Carrot.
What does that have to do with it?
It's a trick one. It's like venium. What if it's caridium? You wouldn't know. That sounds real, don't it? And that makes the story like that's the type of mineral that are in diamonds, and that's what they call it, like carrots. You believe it?
I said it confidently. I believe I can have the whole room convinced.
What?
You just learned this.
This is politics.
Not
Yeah.
actually.
Aluminum oxide. I want you to take a moment and try it. Mr. Hall, what if I don't get it right? Well, that's okay. You know,
You said
it's all right.
they don't. I promise.
I want to add this while you're doing this. If you haven't picked up on this yet, if you don't know your elements, you're in trouble. If you don't know your polyatomic ions, you don't know it yet, but Mr. Hall will go ahead and foreshadow this for you. You're in trouble.
We'll cross that
Thanks
bridge
for
when
that.
we get there.
We're not far from it.
I've got time. I can do anything if I put my mind to it.
That's okay.
You should have never
13 is a positive 2, isn't it?
Three.
3, 3, 2, 1.
Because it goes 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1 in opposite directions. It
Yeah.
starts at 15, which is.
You should never mention the carrots and balance just how far it is.
Good for her.
No conspiracy theory.
And dogs, I was just some dogs though.
Carrots on diamonds is how big they are.
Oh. Do you thought that's where the orange
Yeah.
pea come from?
No, that was just a
I can't even see.
Do you all need a periodic table?
Yes. Yes.
By the time I get all these, I'll be ready
We
to
have one.
hang them in my room.
Don't be there.
I got one right here.
I see what you're doing.
I'm using my resources.
Like Ms. Cole said, legalized cheating is not cheating.
Yeah. You never said not to.
It's oxygen.
You still talk.
Now you can.
Mr. Hall, by the time you get done hanging these out, I'm gonna have a wall full
Table
of
is
these.
easy.
Oh yeah, that's my goal.
Work with what?
Okay, So Mr. Hall step in and help you. Let's start first. Aluminum. Al. Very nice. What is the charge on the aluminum? Positive 3. Look at oxide. Oxide comes from oxygen. So that's O.
And 0.
Two negative. Why is it two negative? It's in the 16th column. 16th column forms a -2 charge. Now, do you think you could take it from here?
Yeah.
You do the cross.
Hold on. Well, I got a question when I get done.
Okay, you do that and get done. Don't worry, you only got like a minute before the bell, but it's okay.
Well, you
good
might
thing
want to
this
go
doesn't
ahead.
take long.
Because now
If you're still working on it, you keep working on it. But as Mr. Hall told you, perform and do it.
Oh, it was oxygen.
you remember those numbers
Yeah.
that we did? The long one, how many
Oxide
ones,
is
top
Yeah.
three, -3,
Oxygen.
-1, 0, 1, 2.
You're going to name monatomic. Remove the ending, add IDE. Oxide. Oxide, when it ends in the IDE, tells me it has the charge.
Can you do this real quick? I know
Do
the
cross.
one like the X.
Cross. So it's Al. I go to the oxygen, there's a 2, so it's Al2. O, I go to the aluminum, there's a 3, so it's O3. Al2, O3.
Finally did.
Mr. Hall, you're telling me it's a simple?
Yes, yeah, I know it's like full.
No, it's
You don't keep the negatives?
No, hey, have a great, wonderful day. Have a great, wonderful weekend. I love you all. I'll see you Monday, where we take off with more nomenclature. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, first off, so happy you are here today. I'm so sorry we missed yesterday. Mr. Hall had good news, Mr. Hall bad news.
Oh, please.
What
don't.
news you want first?
The bad news. Just
Bad news. Your next quiz
It's Friday.
Tuesday.
will have all sorts of nomenclature on it.
But it'll be the Friday after this one.
Now,
We hope.
that's your bad news. Here's the good news.
We don't have school next Friday, so it's Thursday.
Why don't we have school Friday?
It's like you're a prophet. I'm so proud.
Oh, no, I really didn't know that. I just guessed. But
Yeah, I was thinking,
It's like they're
what are
like-
all the possible things that can happen?
They're like missing school equals missing out.
Hey.
Yeah, every single day of the week.
I just want you guys to know that makes me very happy because today's my
Mr.
first
Hall.
and last day this week.
I have a question. Isn't, like, report cards going out on the 25th anyhow?
Oh
They said
God.
the all 9 weeks
I'll have,
on the
I'll have
25th.
3 What?
It's what Miss Cole said the other day.
Hey, if she said it, you take it to the bank. That woman knows what she's talking
So
about.
Billy, is there no school next Friday?
There is no school next Friday.
So what's
Professional
the
learning.
good, bad news, or whatever you never did tell us?
What's going on Friday?
I have
Bad news is your next quiz has got a lot of nomenclature. The good news is it's not this Friday, it's next Thursday. All right, so we had left off, ladies and gentlemen, we had left off talking all about binary compounds.
It's next Thursday.
So this is kind of where we're picking up today. And today we get to go into one of my favorite things.
You can try both if you do a review on Friday.
It takes
It's
more
very,
than 5
very
hours.
simple. He just has to write down something and then draw 2 arrows.
So the binary compounds, these are very simplistic. So we can start with names, we can work backwards, we can go from chemical formulas and get names. So let's just start with a name.
Dalton.
Dalton, this is a review.
So let's do barium sulfide.
No.
Man, all of these things. What's that secretly an element? You just created.
If that happens and one day that gets released, all y'all are gonna go nuts.
Yeah.
Mr. Hall did it first!
And then you're not gonna get no credit.
So barium sulfide, this goes back to how we left off on Friday. Take it easy, take it slow. What do you first start with when you're dealing with binary compounds?
The
Protons.
IDE is the key.
The base.
The B and,
Chemical symbols.
yeah.
But what about with the chemical symbols? Where are we looking first?
The periodic
Periodic
table.
table and columns.
Awesome. But at the very, this is, I said this is the key to doing these correctly. Starts with an M.
Monatomic.
We look at the monatomics first.
I wasn't even here.
Did you guess?
Yes, I did.
I'm just taking it. Okay, so monatomic. So you look at barium. In this case, barium is bonded to sulfide.
That's not even funny.
No, it's just singular, stands alone. It's
I hate mono.
So it's bonded to sulfide, so therefore we know that barium is,
Plural.
starts with cat.
Cation.
Cation. Because it's bonded to sulfur is an
Anion.
anion. So barium, chemical symbol, Ba. What column is barium in?
13.
I'm gonna zoom it in. I feel like y'all are like,
Yeah.
I put
I heard 2 and I heard 10. Somebody,
It's two.
Oh, because it is not bad.
so it's in column 2. So what's the charge on the barium?
2. Negative 2.
2 positive.
Why did I? Hold on.
Sulfide comes from what element?
Sulfur.
Sulfur. Chemical symbol S. Hey, if y'all picked up, by the way, if you don't know your elements and your chemical symbols, you might be in a lot of trouble.
Still don't know my prefixes.
It's okay.
Just saying. Sulfur is in what column?
You're just talking about the ones that we
Which gives it what charge? -2.
You're talking about the elements we took a test on, right? All of them?
The ones that we all bond.
No, well, I just didn't get 2.
I mean, eventually, yeah. But
Oh, I have 5 more. We go back to that. Yes, ma'am.
How did you get 2 when it's in the 16th column? That's what I'm.
Because it has 6 valence electrons. Remember the game we came up with. Get to 8. It's easier to pick up 2 negative charges.
I can't wait for you.
So,
I know those ones.
whenever we do this, we now have the monatomics. What's the key?
Cross.
And here's my
The cross thingy. I don't know
Cross.
what it is.
That's right.
The red cross.
So, we take this number and it goes where?
To the bottom.
So-
To the other
Bottom of
side.
sulfur. Where's this number go?
Bond.
Bottom of barium. So in that case, we get Ba, 2, S, 2. How many of you love math class? You're going to be like,
Oh.
Do the hot.
they both have 2. What can we do?
Add 'em.
Make them.
Those are light terms.
Cancel. The
No,
go.
we can't combine like that.
Simplify. Get rid of them. Because they're both have the same number, we can simplify it out to Ba, S. Barium sulfide.
That's big.
Dalton, by the way, you missed it right over here. Please be sure you can.
Yeah, I have a
Question?
57
Fish.
intrigue.
Bash.
Spring's coming.
Just not saying
Like
that.
a preschool.
What are you talking about?
Mr. Hall, this is the part to show your video of you trying to catch a fish, Barry.
No, it's not.
It's on TikTok, by the way.
I'm trying to catch a fish, Mary.
All right, let's do.
It didn't work
How
out.
does the low market
He called
1,
it,
2,
and then it fell
and
right
3?
down.
He got too excited.
13.
He said, look, you know.
13's 3.
Oh. 1, 2, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Yeah. So whenever you do these, you forget about these for right now. Not forever,
I love how that fire.
They're confused.
They're coming. but 1, 2, 3. What about 14th column?
That fire and everything yesterday.
15, 16, 17. Don't worry about it. Okay, let's try one. Mr. Hall come up with a good one.
Celine Dion.
No. Potassium nitride.
I like that word. Nitride.
Nitride. You should write it.
I am. I have to process it.
Potassium nitride. What's the key doing binary compounds?
Monatomic.
Do the monatomics first. Here's your first step. Determine what type of bond we're dealing with here. This seems very simplistic because this is the only thing we've done, okay? You're baling hay right now. Don't worry, here in a moment we're going to lay brick. Potassium, metal or non-metal?
Staircase, guys. Where's the potassium? Potassium's K. K's on the left side. It's a metal.
Let's sit there stare at phosphorus.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, Owen. Potassium is a metal.
Where do you see
Everybody's like, where's the P at?
Hey, you remember that thing Mr. Hall said about knowing your elements?
I shouldn't do that.
Nitride comes from nitrogen. Is nitrogen metal or non-metal?
No.
Non-metal. So a metal and a non-metal make what type of bond? So this is an ionic bond, therefore we use ionic naming rules. There's two of them, which means we're at binary compounds. So, start at the monatomics. Potassium is the symbol of K. I was not going to wait to ask for that because as much as everybody was struggling, they looked at phosphorus and thought that it was potassium.
Don't look at
Phosphorus is P, potassium is K. What is the charge on the potassium?
one.
Positive 1. Look at the nitride. Nitride comes from nitrogen. Chemical symbol for nitrogen is N. What's the charge?
-3.
-3. What are we going to do to get it right?
We gotta do the cross.
Cross.
I have done that. Oh, Mr. Hall, you will be very proud of me when I tell you this. I am almost through all of the Marvel movies.
Awesome.
Absolutely amazing. I
Potassium?
not watching them.
3. Nitrogen 1. Can I simplify?
No.
So that's it.
Is it wrong if you put the plus 1 at the bottom?
Don't put charge. And don't put a 1.
So it'll be wrong if I did?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Here comes the fun part. You know how driving on the street you can go one way?
That's why someone
And then,
right 45
We live in southern West Virginia. You can go the other way too.
Well, you got to swerve a little bit. There's some holes.
Yeah.
Especially in town right now.
And if you hear a
Here
bump,
comes the
just
fun
keep-
part.
They're gonna pay for my shocks once.
Why does they fix the water line at school in one day, but they can't fix one in town in 2 weeks?
Wasn't water line in the school.
It was what?
We've been talking about that red light since
Hey, I give you chemical formula. What you think you give me?
Janae.
Magnesium bromide.
Hey, it's this simple. Pay attention, because I'm telling you, when we start laying bricks, you're going to want to remember how we baled hay.
My dad's good at laying bricks.
Well, then maybe you
First
should bring
one.
it back to school.
Determine the bond. Magnesium, metal or non-metal? Metal. Alright. Bromide comes from bromine, metal or non-metal? Non-metal. Metal and a non-metal is ionic bond. There's two of them, so binary compound. Use binary compound naming rules. Monatomics. Start here with magnesium. What do we call the cation?
Caution.
Magnesium.
Oh.
Yeah, the other one, yeah, okay.
Mr. Hall, how did you get magnesium? Remember the monatomics? You named cat was based off alphabet names.
Bromide. kind of scary too.
Bromide.
Probably wrong.
Br is the chemical symbol for what?
Bromine.
Bromine. And what do we do with the anion?
Bromide.
Remove the ending, add IDE. So we can do bromine. Remove the ending.
That's wrong, Mr. Hall, that's wrong, Mr. Hall, that's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong, Mr. Hall. Mr. Hall, it's wrong.
Dalton, he's fixing it.
I know. I've been gone. I gotta release the aggravation.
He's preparing you for what your life will be like in 8 more months.
Not even that.
Dalton's gonna be its influence. Every day you bring him to school, we're gonna set up with Dalton.
That's the worst possible thing you can do.
Magnesium bromide.
Dalton will just put it on the washer like he said he does this together.
He had colic. He liked the vibrations of it.
All right, here. I want you to try one. I ain't gonna give you long to do it. It shouldn't take long.
Okay, but don't tell us in 5 seconds either.
I'm not.
You're against him. It's like Russia's like.
Like I started, sometimes she has questions and it's like,
I think it's so quiet.
She'll be like, I'll give you time to work this out, guys. She'll do one little lap.
Go!
And she's like,
I almost said the name.
see, stop it.
you want to go, do this.
You're reminding
Go,
me of this
go,
all the
Power
time. It's scary.
Rangers!
Well, I know what it's
Avengers.
No.
I know what that means
Call all
now.
students to report to room 1094, please. Matthew Jordan Hatfield, Stephen Cochran, Eli Toller,
I can't read that.
and Kinsey Pace Mounds.
Why'd she say that? I need one of my 50 periodic tables.
What's under
Oh, yeah,
the
this-
ball like that?
That boy.
No, the ball.
We never learned.
It's
Not those two, you know, blocks of the ball.
See,
Here?
it's in the first.
I know, I'm trying to read from here, I just can't see it.
See, you can have a periodic table.
No, no,
I don't care.
Right there.
You can't see it.
I wouldn't know about it.
If I didn't do this right, I'm gonna drop it.
That's okay. I have plenty of tissues.
Why did I say
I keep them just for the tears.
Yeah.
I think some kids think I run around with bottles. Whenever they see me with my Brita bottle, that I'm drinking students' tears. All right, I've waited long enough. See,
That's what I'm saying. Why can't it be CZI?
CS is
There's no way.
cesium. For those of you that need help finding cesium, cesium is number 55. Now, because I'll probably misspell it if I don't have this.
It's a big word, man.
It is. Be careful.
If not, Dalton will have an aneurysm.
So it just stays.
So cesium phosphorus, but what do we do with anions?
Drop it and do the
Get rid of the horse.
Move the ending, add IDE. Cesium phosphide.
What are you talking about?
You know it all.
You just give me the name, you don't have to search for the Questions?
Yeah, I feel like we should have a test on just this, so I can get 100 for once.
Yeah, me too.
No, because then you also have to know how to name them.
Nobody said that until you did.
Yeah, but he would already do it. That's why he gave us that worksheet the other day.
You know,
What were you saying?
Yeah, you guys don't- well, if you guys would show up, you have the worksheet.
I'm sorry, I had the flu.
You guys weren't here for the sub, were you?
What's that?
Yeah, so fun.
So y'all don't get the points.
okay. I get you into blue shield. to one of Mr. Hall.
No, you can't come in here. You chose something.
Fake things. This is fun. What?
Do you have these crackers? Like that's a genuine question.
She's sick.
My
Give her
mom
crackers.
does have like crackers and she has pretzels or like they're the baked ones. They're not good.
No, so sorry.
I just
What's the
say
chemical
she knows
formula
what
for
every-
crackers?
Yeah, no crackers.
Just go in the back room. She's ready.
Okay,
Yeah, go to the back room.
here we
Yes,
go.
he'll take you back there and do it.
Thank you.
One of Mr. Hall's favorite things. You're gonna like this one.
Is it crackers?
This one's simplistic. If you follow me.
Then it's not that simple.
You know me, I love rules.
That's not true.
Stop. I don't know stop.
Yes, you do. You work at McDonald's.
Stock system.
I know how to stop.
That's all we know how to do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what you've done so far? You've baled hay. Today, we stack bricks.
How do you go from bricks to hay? Should be like baling hay.
I
Wait, no,
thought
wait.
it was wood between.
We don't get that.
Wait, so are we making like gold out of straw now?
So we just skipped the
We're
whole
doing
part of the story.
We had big brain ideas, so we skipped the whole part and went straight to the
He
verse.
was immediately, he didn't.
Okay,
He just got eight.
necessarily with this, there's two systems.
There's a straw. No.
There's a song called The Three Little Pigs by Green Jelly.
Green jelly.
Really good.
Stock system
I thought it was criminal.
is used only with transition metals.
Aren't those the ones you got us off in high school?
Is that color purple? Is that like your off colored purple and it's not really like important purple?
That's not the important purple.
This is influence.
Okay, so it's in the right purple now, okay.
I don't like it.
I had to make sure before I mess up my
There's a box.
You will use the stock system when we deal with transition metals. Here's the key is why we deal with the stock system with transition metals. Transition metals can have multiple charges.
I put ham.
Can't have multiple charges.
No, I put transition metals ham.
I don't think ham is.
This is why we use the stock system. Stock system becomes very simple. You just have to be able to do a little bit of math. By a little bit of math, I mean go back to 4th grade.
I quit.
The cosine of the periodic table.
That's not 4th grade.
I don't even remember the first grade.
So transition metals can have multiple charges. So here's what we do to counteract this.
Mr. Hall, can I ask you a real quick off-topic question?
What?
Ham or turkey?
Ham's a clear answer.
Ham or turkey?
Ham's clear.
Turkey.
Turkey's dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got smother in gravy.
Whether it's salt.
And that, salt and gravy.
Ham is perfectly good now.
I just think it's.
Yeah, like you can burn a
I'm
ham.
kind of like with ham, I can just have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can eat ham all the
Turkey
time.
is-
Turkey's like one of those things like it's a whole meal.
I want it every I'll have a couple times. Like, you know, I smoked some turkey breast for Friendsgiving.
Yeah,
I'm done.
yeah, stuff like that.
I'm good for a while.
I don't
And
like
but
turkey.
because like turkey meat, like sandwich meat, don't ham. Like it's not the same turkey. They don't even taste
So
the same.
use Roman numerals.
Call it Coliseum. It's just a real.
You just call it seating.
Get land on and use those.
For the charge
I don't know my Nomenclature.
The transition map. You all do me a favor in this room. Raise your hand if you know your Roman numerals with complete 100% assurance and confidence.
For what number?
Take a look. Take a look in the room.
I know the 3.
I think the max you could probably see is 6 or 7.
Oh yeah, I think I know those very well.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, all of you that didn't raise your hand, guess what you need to do?
Cry.
I'm already crying.
Is this Roman numeral for 4?
L is 50.
Listen, I know them all the
Yeah,
way
I
like
know that of the Super Bowl.
5 or 6.
Oh wow.
You'd think I wouldn't.
But I don't know
about
the past beyond
No, I
that.
think it's I from
And the only reason I know up to 5 or 6 is because of the Saw movies. So.
Oh, I love the song
One,
movie.
1, 2, and 3, you just add lines.
That is so good. They go
And then you
All right.
for the B, and then you B, and
So, this is what the stock system looks like.
Saw was like,
One,
you know,
three,
Saw
three.
1, Saw 2, Saw 2.
Focus on me.
Okay, Ariana Grande.
Thank you. Next.
She made a whole song singing that over and over for 2 minutes.
Stupid song.
yeah.
No, you're gonna
You just gotta
sing
know,
it.
man.
So, this is to kind of like show you what we're looking at here. You have
Hear that?
Theo.
Figaro.
What?
Ugly in Spanish.
Feo.
Somebody took it straight.
Oh, he's Feo too.
FE203.
Very ugly.
Mr. Hall, you
Ugly,
didn't take
super
Spanish.
ugly.
No, I did take Spanish.
Do you
That
know
was
what
a
they're
while
making
ago.
fun of?
Listen, guys, I learned so much from Spanish, okay? I mean, I learned so much.
You know what we learned?
Are you the
How
type
to
of
use the
person?
computer to cheat because we don't have to do that.
Are you the type of person that says gracias and makes the dress?
I learned how to look on my money.
No, I'm the person that looks and says, "Can you speak Spanish?" Yes. Taco. Enchilada.
Burrito.
No guac. No. Literally from my Spanish class, you guys are going to get a kick out of this. It's probably going to shock you. There was me and one of my best friends when we were at school here. We would talk, so the Spanish teacher was constantly getting mad at us. But she never punished him. It was always me getting punished. She would make me take a desk, go to the back of the room, turn the desk, face the back wall, and have to sit there. I couldn't turn around. I said, well, how am I supposed to learn? She was like you were paying attention anyway? I got in all sorts of trouble. Especially one day because she gave us an assignment that we were supposed to work in groups. And I don't know how you work in groups without talking. So we were like working through the dictionary.
Kevin, you got here today. Back of the room.
Well, it's like we're sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, that's blah, 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 blah. And she's like, shut up. I'm like, okay. And then, like it goes on and she's like, you speak one more time. I'm like, how are we supposed to do group work if we can't talk?
Because you don't know what an inside voice is.
So then she looks at me and goes, at that point she said, you talk. Back in the room. I'm like, why is it always me? Why is it never Cole? And then she just told me that I was always talking. What'd you say?
Cole is now in prison for talking. That would be sad.
Said the wrong words.
As far as I'm concerned, it'd be a miracle if Cole was still alive. That guy literally, if you would look at him, you could find like a dead bug next to a toxic waste container, and you could look at him and say, what's the odds you'll eat that? Done did. Like he played baseball and they went out there and they would find like all sorts of stuff and he'd eat it, and I'm like, How's he alive?
If it would eat me.
All right, anyway.
We have to have a show and tell day, because I need to meet some of these people you tell stories about, like the professor.
Yeah.
This person.
All right, so here's the thing. Let's focus here first. Let's look at this one first. Let's get the name for it. Now, stock system, we're going to use Roman numerals. In order to do this, the Roman numeral is going to tell the charge. So for us to do this, if we're going to tell the charge, you got to be able to find the charges. Here's the key. Iron.
Wait, isn't this all the confusing ones?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's
Yay!
try to bring the light, excuse me, stop marked out over here.
Magic. You know.
Oh, it's magic.
So, transition metals. They can carry multiple charges, right? I'll go ahead and look at you. There's a couple of them that hold only one charge. I'm not going to require you to memorize them and know them. How many of you taking AP chemistry again?
Depends.
You can learn it there.
Awesome.
Oh, we have to
Learn it there, guys.
AP biology.
Me too, it's on
No,
don't take AP bio, please.
Don't take it.
Don't take it.
Unless that's for you.
Hey, tell my mother
Some
that.
Hey,
sophomores are talking about.
Oh, bum, bum, bum.
That's our life mission.
Time out.
We ain't go around and tell them about how good
Ava's in
AP bio
trouble.
is.
Why didn't y'all raise your hand?
Huh?
I'm gonna-
Hey,
You know what? That's fine. Hey, that's fine, guys. The guidance counselor's office down the hall.
you already made me go. I was the big
so
one.
sad.
Yeah, she told you to take it.
You should make sure that AP chemistry is on there.
We don't even see
It's
that.
on my backup.
It's not like dice night.
How is it on your backup?
Yeah.
If they don't put me in forensics, I go to
You're going to forensics over AP chemistry.
I have to go to
He's
the
not
Where was on?
He's not learned how to cover up his trail, okay?
But if you knew chemistry,
I've got to
you
go
could
to
do
an
the
ad before I
chemical.
want to go in.
He's gonna.
You know what forensics is? A combination of all the other sciences.
Yeah.
They steal from all of us.
You'll put Olive Long Branch out of business one day.
I can't write to say this on YouTube.
But they'll pass it.
Anyway, the transition metal can carry multiple charges. Here's the key. Look at what it's bonded to. Look at oxygen. Do you know the charge of oxygen?
Two? Negative 2?
It's too late to look.
It's in the
It's in the 16th column.
It's negative 2?
Negative 2.
Or 2 negative? Add
Since
0.
it's 2 negative, how many oxygens you got?
Two of them. It's an atomic.
Mister, all you got to rephrase that somehow, but that's not too funny.
Hey, he said it was diatomic, not supposed to be by itself, but that's not the right answer.
Diatomic only applies when it's by itself.
It is by itself with the
No,
It's bonded to iron.
So there's one there.
That is not iron, that's femto.
Femto Pascal, God, I remember that.
How many oxygens we got?
2 negatives.
Somebody said 1, I'm going with it. So there's 1. It means the overall negative charge is 2 negative.
To the one element.
So that means the overall positive charge has to be what?
8.
2 positive.
Yeah.
How many irons you got?
Oh, because they cancel out.
1. Which means each iron has a +2 charge. So this is iron. And here's the key. I'm going to stress this. You best listen. You best listen. I mark this wrong every year. And I stress this.
It's gonna happen again.
Parentheses.
Exponents, multiply, divide. That's
Oh.
Pemdas.
Parentheses.
He's gonna kill us.
Roman numeral.
No.
What's the charge?
Excuse me, interruption for a couple announcements. Need to see the following students in the office.
In parentheses.
Dalton Cook, Emma Maynard, Darren Shoemate, Haley Painter, Caitlin Gibson. Also, in case you didn't, you probably noticed this morning, they were starting work on the roof.
We know that.
No, we didn't. I
Play
cleaned
up
up
here the
to
next few months.
Who made
Start
the
some
sidewalk
interior
walk
work.
around the building?
They'll get all that back up just as soon as possible. Reminder, don't be jumping up to yank on anything. All Coalfield Conference for basketball was announced day before yesterday. For the girls, first team Cheyenne Jenkins, second team Deja Klein, Kenzie Morgan, Caitlin Lester, and honorable mention Emily Johnson. Congratulations. On the boys team, first team Chandel Atkins, Evan Malusi, second team Dale Bledsoe, Ashton Reed. Honorable mention, Austin Klein, Hunter Lester. Congratulations to those gentlemen. And thanks to the girls and boys basketball team for a wonderful season. We appreciate all your hard work.
Is there also two under that one?
Last week was National School Breakfast Week, and there was some prize winners. Following students won a $20 gift card. Haley Franklin, Cheyenne Dodson, Kendra Walker, Skylar Roche, Jacob Payne. Also winning prizes were Zoe Goff, Jaden Bailey, Carly Mouse, and Alex Carruthers. I want to take an opportunity to thank our wonderful cooks for all the hard work that they do to provide us with a nice meal and just been nice to us. What do you think? Have a good day.
Alright, here's the thing. The anion that it's bonded to, you keep the same naming rule for it. The only change to this is with the cation, you have to put the charge in parentheses. That charge applies only to the cation. So you put the name of the element and you put the charge of it in parentheses.
In the middle.
This is option 1, and I promise you, you like option 1 a lot more. Option 2 is not fun. Option 2 goes to Latin roots.
Yeah, I did.
Another way you can name this, in case you end up with some old man professor or old woman professor that is not getting off their horse and going with the new systems, the new changes in chemistry. This also is ferrous oxide. Mr. Hall, where did ferrous come from? I'll tell you where it came from. The Latin root for iron. OUS is the lower charge. Ic is the higher charge. So this is ferric oxide. How many of you want to go with the Latin system?
I mean, it's cool because I can like all that and stuff like ferrous wheels, iron wheels.
You didn't take an AP!
I like Latin.
All you're going to hear from me is AP chemistry. That's it.
Well, if it goes well enough to the end of the year and I don't fail, then I'll probably change it. But
You should give us a big curve, so I'm sure that we have
I don't have any free quizzes in here.
We are not doing the Latin system. The reason why it's dying out.
Yay.
We gotta keep it alive.
No.
No.
This is a whole lot simpler. This is why we stick with stock. I'll see you tomorrow where we will take off from here. Who knows?